Throughout their history, the people of Russia have seen change after change in their political system. Most Russians have never had much of a say about their future. However, in the past few years, the world has seen dramatic events in what was known as the Soviet Union. What used to be is no more. For the first time, multi-party and multi-candidate elections have been held. Real but fragile democracies are beginning to take hold as the people decide their own destiny through the ballot box and break away from the past. This video is a chronicle of Election Day, December 12, 1993, in the Russian Federation. It was taken by Paul DeGregorio and Catherine Barnes for the International Foundation for Electoral Systems. December 12 was a day when history was made as Russian voters adopted a new constitution and a new parliament in an election with choices that were unprecedented. We take you to polling places in the Russian Republic of Mordovia, an area 400 miles east-southeast of Moscow.
It's cold.
On Election Day, polls opened at 8 a.m. and closed at 10 p.m. Here at polling place number 650 in the city of Saransk, poll workers put the list in order and prepared the 4 ballots for distribution. Workers were given last-minute instructions. A candidate's name was crossed off one of the paper ballots because he dropped out of the race at the last minute. Officials from a few political parties were present to watch the vote. Here, we see 2 observers from the Communist Party. As we approached 8 a.m., poll workers hurriedly made preparations to seal the ballot box. The box was checked to be empty, and here we see the process of sealing the ballot box.
Excellent. This is wild.
A wax-like substance was placed on the string, holding down the lid. Then, the official seal of polling place 650 was etched onto the wax. A paper seal was then added, which contained the signatures of all 14 poll workers.
First voter.
At 8:05, the first voter signed in and was given her ballot. She then proceeded to cast her ballot in the secret of a voting booth. These booths were made of wood and had red velvet curtains. Other voters quickly followed. It did not take long to see that many voters, especially the elderly, needed to have the most complicated ballot in the history of Russia explained to them. There were 4 individual ballots given to each voter. One ballot asked voters if they approved of the draft constitution. To make a choice, voters were instructed to cross through yes if they wanted to vote no, or cross through no if they wanted to vote yes. That alone was confusing, but something that Russians have been used to. 2 ballots involved the selection of candidates for the State Duma, which is the lower chamber of parliament. On one, voters marked an X in a box next to one of 13 political parties that were listed on the ballot with the names of their top 3 candidates. These parties represented a wide spectrum of political thought. On another ballot, voters marked their choice next to a candidate's name without party affiliation listed. A 4th ballot asked voters to make 2 choices from a list of candidates for the Federation Council, or upper chamber of the parliament. This was the first time that voters were asked to mark an X next to their choice. In the past, they were instructed to cross through the candidate they didn't want. Here, we see the observer for the Communist Party giving a voter last-minute advice on how to mark his ballot by taking a pen and showing him exactly where to place his X. We traveled to rural areas to view the process there. Often, we were greeted by an important official. Here, we meet the mayor. Many polling places had loud music to attract voters and greet them as they entered. Music could also be found inside the buildings. Prior to voting, citizens could read a wall chart which listed biographical sketches of candidates. In this public school building that served as a polling place, like several others we visited, one could easily see that the many symbols of the communist past are still in place. As the morning progressed, voting became heavier, and citizens stood and sat where they could for quite a while, waiting to use the booths. Many times, they conferred with neighbors or party observers about the choices on the ballot.
Чтобы время не терять. Сейчас следующую часть.
Bundled up young Russian children often accompanied their parents to the crowded polling places. Everywhere we went, poll workers worked very hard to keep up with the volume of voters. Russian citizens handed their identification or passport to the poll worker, who checked it and then gave the voter the poll list to sign next to their name. In some places, they also wrote their passport ID number. The voter was then given the 4 separate ballots to mark. Here we are at polling place number 633 in a town of about 2,000 people. We found the more rural the polling place, the more likely one would find a more festive and loud musical atmosphere. You can listen to the beat here. This republic was dominated by agriculture, with many farm collectives.
Hello.
Here we are at a school that was dedicated to the father of Lenin.
Oh, really?
This village had a poll list of about 1,000 people, which had been carefully handwritten in alphabetical order. The area was populated with many Russian Muslims. Voting was brisk. Some ballot boxes even had the old seal of the Communist Party still in place. Lunchtime brought a selection of eggs, beef tongue, freshly smoked fish, and sour cream.
I found 12 very big good mushrooms in one forest near Moscow. Record.
Locals were fascinated by the foreigners. Back to the Republic's capital of Saransk, where we were interviewed by a local television station.
Well, in the United States, I've served as an election official.
В Соединенных Штатах его работа заключается в том, что он Проводит избирательную кампанию в своем городе.
And the voting process is similar in many respects.
И сам процесс голосования очень похож во многих областях. Да? А если кто-то, допустим, выпал как случайным образом из списка, у вас есть
In the evening, we visited polling places in even more remote areas.
11 человек. 11 people they're adding to their list. Now, what else?
No, Paul, it's cold probably because you don't have a coat on.
Поприветствовать американцев.
America.
Быстренько. Ну, что вы боитесь? Ну, кто испуган?
Here we are in a small remote village of 488 voters with the head of the farm collective shown in the black leather coat. This polling place proved to be the most interesting of all.
Is there any party members as observers in this polling place today?
Володь, тебя близко.
Okay. Cheese, permaz. No. Say cheese.
Cheese.
No, you got to get a picture of that.
We were pressed into service to dance with each one of the workers. No one was left out of the festivity.
Получится. Полчаса, сейчас начнете вовсю.
Of course, voting still continued, and workers quickly composed themselves to serve a citizen. In the back room, dinner could be found. Here we were presented a gift from this community which had never seen a foreigner.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'll go and get them.
Дай еще.
Слава нет?
Если он пожелает.
If you want, you can.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
Спасибо.
Into piles.
Here we are back where we started, at polling place number 650 in the city of Saransk. Polls have been closed now for more than an hour, and workers are breaking the seals on the ballot boxes and taking out the voted ballots.
Here's our fine gentleman who was here this morning. Still here.
Poll workers painstakingly separate each and every ballot. At this particular polling place, turnout was about 75%. 1,470 voters of the nearly 2,000 eligible participated. That translates into about 6,000 ballots that had to be separated and counted. By midnight, the constitutional ballot had been counted. At 1:20, the first of the parliamentary ballots were completed. Each poll worker signed the protocol or certification of results from each of the 4 ballots as they were completed. Here we see the ballot for the Federation Council being counted. Because it was a vote for 2 ballot, it took vote workers quite a while to complete the count. Results were added together on paper and by calculator. By 2:47 a.m. in the morning, the final protocol was signed by the 14 workers.
I thought we were going to Communist Party headquarters for the...
To celebrate the completion of the tally, the commission chair ordered the music turned on. She then proceeded to acclaim the end by dancing. Some co-workers joined in, while others took down the booths. Ballots were placed in large paper bags and prepared for delivery. The protocols and ballots were then delivered by the chair and other workers to the local administrative center, which was bustling with activity. At the center, the protocol was checked by a supervisor. The results were then taken to another room in the building where the numbers were checked and then recorded on the protocol for the whole district. At 3:33 p.m., we returned to the polling place, number 650.
Okay.
Спасибо вам.
Spasibo.
Upon our arrival, we found that a table of food and drink had been prepared. All 14 poll workers and their guests celebrated their role in their country's quest for democracy until the wee hours of the morning.
Despite their first chance at democratic elections...
As the world analyzes the results of this particular election, history will record that the people of Russia were able to decide by peaceful means the course for their future.
Ящики, она определяет, какие бюллетени считать действительными, какие недействительными.